Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Something Something podcast. Larry, it is going to be so weird now that we're doing video. And I keep remembering, man, people are going to see me. They're going to see my room. That's why I've got the blur on because, my new room isn't all the way set up yet.
Yeah, yeah. No, I get it. I get it. And obviously, I think over there on your side, I think you probably have notes for scripts and stuff, right? On the
Yeah.
wall.
Yeah.
So,
Hey, can I tell that funny story?
what?
So, Hillsborough Road is getting closer and closer to being done, but I have other scripts I'm working on, and I was gonna send some log lines because I like doing, I guess, test pitching to the
Yeah.
target demographic. So our good friend Micah and her daughter, they're my Manzi is right at the age demographic, and I was gonna send them these log lines to get their thoughts on it. And I realized, crap, I accidentally sent it to Larry.
But I am, Eric, I'm
Yeah.
your target audience, right?
Oh yeah, you're definitely the target audience, dude.
No, and they were great, by the way. I was like, oh, Eric's sending me these. I guess I'll respond. I
Yeah,
like this one in that order, and then the
yeah.
other
But
two.
then it's
So
like,
yeah.
oh man, now we gotta talk about them. No, I was gonna go to you eventually. But hey, Hillsborough Road is closer and closer to being done.
Yes.
We just have to, it's again, we allow for human error. Our
Right.
buddy, bro,
Right.
Brooks has had some family issues, thoughts
Yeah.
and prayers out to him, but
Yeah.
this journey is done.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, it's Eric, when you think about filmmaking and um everything that filmmakers have to go through just to do their craft. I think
yeah,
obviously as a filmmaker and as an actor, there's certain levels, right? You start out, at one place and you just kind of have to follow where life kind of takes you, right?
yeah.
And
So,
then,
Larry,
uh-huh.
oh no, go on. Then I'm gonna
Oh
get
no,
into
then I
our
was just
guest.
gonna say, but then all of a sudden you hit your groove and you hit your stride. And to do a film, it's easy, right? But to get it done and completed, it's a totally different animal and a beast. So we're right there. I mean, we're right on the edge of finishing, and it feels good, actually.
Yeah. So, Larry, unlike you, I absolutely love movies.
I do, Eric. I
No,
love
you
movies.
don't.
I just
You
don't
don't.
take the time to do it.
To watch them or talk about them or
Oh,
think about
I'll
them.
talk about movies all the time.
Yeah. So, no, in all seriousness, a few weeks ago, I know the date, October 25th, I decided to do a double feature. I was going to see the movie Regretting You and Springsteen Deliver Me from Nowhere. Now, I'm
Mhm.
from New Jersey,
Yeah.
proud to be from New Jersey. And Larry, I liked this YA novel adaptation more than the Bruce Springsteen biopic.
Wow.
Yeah,
That says a
way
lot.
more. And as a director, when you're watching movies, you watch the actors differently.
Hmm.
And the guest we have on today, I immediately identified with. Was like, man, this guy is really, really good. So I do what I usually do after movies, cry for a couple hours. No, I went out to eat right in the mall, and I'm just on my phone looking up this actor. Like, man, this guy has some cool stuff. He has other things happening. I'm gonna, shoot my shot and try to get him on the show. Larry, tell
Yeah.
everybody about our guest.
Man, I am so super excited and stoked to have Ethan Costanilla on our show today. And like you said, and even before we record, he's part of the number one, number two movie in
Yeah,
America, right?
yes,
And something that has drawn you to him, and I think that speaks a lot as an actor. So, everybody, this episode, I'd like to introduce actor and a director because we were
yeah.
just talking. But Ethan Costanilla, welcome to the show.
Hello, hello. Thank you for having me. I appreciate you guys. It's an honor to be here.
Oh,
Oh,
no, it's the honor to have you, my friend.
yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for those kind words as well. No, that was amazing to hear from you guys. I also, yeah, just like that you liked the movie more than the Springsteen movie. That's crazy, you know?
That says a lot. Yeah.
And that says
And
a
we
lot.
get
Yeah, that says a lot. And so that's I appreciate that and stuff. So that's really cool stuff to hear. Yeah.
I'll
Yes.
say this. I usually put out my top 10 movies at the end of the year, and I really feel it's definitely gonna be in my top 10 because it was
Oh, wow.
just such a feel-good movie.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
I saw it with the perfect audience. I'm usually a church-going guy, but I couldn't make it to church that Sunday, and
Mm.
it was a packed house with families and teenage girls who were hooting and hollering. There was stuff with you where they were going, "Oh!" It was
Oh.
just such a fun experience. Then I go into the Springsteen movie. Funny story, same auditorium, way less people, no energy, and
Mm.
I
Oh,
was
wow.
pretty bummed out by the Springsteen movie. Again, I
Oh,
love New
man.
Jersey. I'm from New Jersey. I love Taylor Ham. I love Disco Fries. I love Bruce Springsteen. But didn't like the movie that much.
Oh wow.
Uh,
Yeah, I have yet to see it, but wow, that's really interesting to hear. If anything, it's funny piggybacking off of like kind of what you were saying, like you were seeing a lot of people just like a lot of packed theaters and stuff. It's funny, I've been to now like technically four screenings, but like I've seen it four times now, and every time it's like even if it's not, it's been mostly packed for a lot of the screenings, but also it's been so nice seeing like reactions, genuine reactions to this movie, like just audible, like just people like having such a feeling towards this movie to where they just have to audibly react to it and stuff. So that's always been so it's so nice to see in theaters again in general, and also just and it's good to see in general in general. Yeah. So yeah, it's been really cool to see that happen.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. What's it been like? Because I know you were just talking about it, but personally, what's it been like for you? Because I can tell you with our podcast, we talk to a lot of creatives. I love talking to actors because I think we have it the hardest because we have to wait for people to cast us. And
yeah.
as a director, um, how important it is to find the right person.
Yeah.
And so there's that there's that I understand, but I still want to get cast and everything, right? As an actor.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean honestly, just like how you said, it's funny. I was having a conversation like this with a buddy of mine about it too, just like the way that this industry works and being an actor, it's like it's you can't it's not an independent career as an actor, you know, it's very dependent on other people with their projects and who they're looking for, and so if anything, it's funny. I'm just now like recently just like coming to terms with that and just being more patient about things and
Yeah,
projects and stuff. And I feel like as soon as you start to become more patient with these kinds of things and just letting yourself kind of just, put that audition in and just seeing what happens and stuff. It's like as soon as that kind of happens, it's you become a little bit more aware of things and you become a lot more grounded and just a lot more uh, I just feel like you're just a lot more humble and real and just all of the things that I feel like is very necessary and very good to be when becoming an actor and stuff. So
absolutely.
yeah, that's
Absolutely.
that's definitely been crazy, a crazy eye opener for me. Yeah.
Yeah. How did you get started in acting?
Oh, I love telling this story. So yeah, if anything, I started generally acting in middle school actually. So that's about like I want to 6 years ago, maybe around. It was literally it's so funny. At that age, I never considered acting to be a thing for me at all. Like it was, if anything, I was more musically inclined a little bit here and there, and that's something I was like, oh yeah, maybe I'm good at that. But it's one of those ages where you're in middle school and you're just trying to have fun. You're just
Yeah.
Oh
you're just
yeah.
trying to like survive each day in the hallways and
Yeah.
just through every
All I
class that you
cared
have.
about was Super Nintendo, Beavis and
Yeah,
Butthead, and
yeah. Yeah.
Wrestling, yeah.
Yeah, it was hard for me to get out of my room after from my video games, like it was that was that time, and then just one day I remember walking through the middle school hallways and just seeing this poster for Aladdin Junior auditions, and it was like a musical that was happening. And lucky enough, I had some friends of mine in my chorus class that were just like also theater kids, and they were like, "Yeah, you should totally, try out for it and stuff, and just see what happens." And so I remember talking to them about it. I remember talking to my dad about it. I remember I was like driving home one day and just talking about it. I was like, "Oh yeah, this cool audition posters at my school," and he's like, "You should try it." And I was like,
Wow.
Wow.
I was like, I was one of those kids back then to where I couldn't be on stage in front of anyone. Like
Oh,
I was
wow.
like, the minute I'm on stage, it's like I'm shaking, my throat's getting dry, and I'm like, it's so hard for me to have that confidence up on that stage. And so immediately I was like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not auditioning for this. There's no way. But it's funny. The one thing he said to me was like, the thing is, son, you're like, you're young, and it's better to try things out now than later and suffer the consequences for later, and just give it a try and see what happens. And so, yeah, later, uh, what is that I did the audition and I ended up getting the lead part of Aladdin at my middle school. And first show opening, I was the most nervous kid. I remember walking on that stage and my skin turned like white because of how like
Wow.
Wow.
pale and scared I was. But what really drew me to acting as a whole after that whole experience was just in theater and in middle school specifically, it's like going through like 2 months of just what rehearsals of like after school rehearsals and building this team of people, of other actors, and just like collaborating with them, even if like some of these people aren't as into theater, or they're just here for the credit or whatever, or if
Yeah.
they're yeah, or if they're actually here for because they're passionate about it. And it was just knowing that even if someone is here just for the credit, it's like it doesn't matter. They're all here together after school, and just like we're all collaborating on this one thing.
Yeah.
And it was like a click moment for me, where after that first show, after all the work that we did, after everything that we went through, and after all the heartaches that we've had of just putting this middle school show together, it was taking that bow and seeing all these people in front of me just like clapping
Wow.
and telling me that it was a great performance. As much as it was a middle school performance, there was a lot of teachers of mine that like you're just telling me how great I was. and
Yeah.
and that was just something that was so it was so satisfying and so fulfilling for me, just to see something that you work so hard on and you put so many hours into, just to see appreciated, and also just to see that some people were moved by. And
Wow.
I think that's just what started it for me, just being a performer in general, just giving people an experience to laugh at, or to cry to, or to just remember, or just to like walk out of that theater or that movie theater and just be like, that was something that was like whatever they grasp from it, just grasping something from a performance is
Yeah.
something that like is something that I always strive for in any kind of performance that I do. And it's what drives me as a performer and as an actor. So
I
yeah.
love that. I
Who
love
did
that.
you play in it?
Oh yeah, I played Aladdin. I played
Oh,
Aladdin in Aladdin
wow.
Junior, which was crazy because again, it was my
Okay.
first
First
audition.
at bat,
Okay,
dude.
wait, hang on. So, yeah, this was your very first thing, and
Yeah.
it sounded like you were a very shy kid, and you had the main role. You were front and center of everybody, and
Hmm.
everybody, you had the most.
Hmm.
How does, okay, that
Easy, man.
is, that is what inspiration, like parents and teachers, and not necessarily kids, although kids are kids, I mean,
Right, right, right. Yeah.
it's hard for them to grasp things, but as a parent, as a teacher, as somebody that kids look up to be able, Ethan, to empower you to believe in yourself. I think that is one of the best things to give a child, especially
Wow.
when they're gonna go on stage, because that's the biggest thing is being on stage, being not just on stage, but being in front of people, talking to people,
Right.
and holding conversations. And you took that opportunity and you looked that nervousness and that little timid kid in the mirror and you said, I'm gonna do this, and you did it.
Yeah, and that was this huge leap for me. Like just
Yeah.
in not only, deciding what I want to do for the rest of my life, but just like as a person,
Right.
just like I can't express enough how much in middle school and even after that through high school, I was always still I was just always a kid who kind of was still learning the social cues and the ways that social, because that's
Yeah. Yeah.
everyone's, I feel like, middle
Yeah,
school and high
yeah.
school experience. It's learning how to
Yes.
go about things and who you click with and yeah, I've never been someone to really go out of my way to just be super confident and stuff like that. So I guess that's why it was such a turning point for me of just it was like it's kind of cliche to say and kind of funny to say, but like it's almost like I was just like I was being seen for the first time. I mean, I was always kind of
Right.
someone who was not to get mellow here, but I was always someone who was kind of like made fun of sometimes a lot of the
Yeah.
times before middle
Yeah.
school and stuff. And like it was never like the one thing I was constantly doing was video games, I never had
Yeah.
any kind of passion. And then all of a sudden, yeah, just this thing, it just you find something that works. And for the
Yeah.
first time, like in what is probably your entire life, and it's just like, wow, like this could be something
Yeah.
I could keep doing going and I could keep trying to do.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, no, that's definitely what it felt like. So yeah, I appreciate that. Seriously.
Well, I
Man,
gotta
that's
say,
that's
man,
great.
the thing about gamers is we get addicted to success and leveling up. So we
Yeah.
take that with us to anything, It's like, well, I did this good at Kingdom Hearts by leveling
Yeah.
up.
Oh, it's
If
a great
I
game.
put
Yeah.
that in, yeah, I love that game. I beat the whole first game with just the Kingdom Key.
That's great.
That
Oh my
is
God. I
my
just
big
finished that game
claim to
recently.
fame.
Yeah,
But no,
that's so
I've
cool.
noticed that gamers, there are some who don't take it outside, but then there
Yeah.
are those who take that passion and patience and leveling up ability and put it towards other stuff. And it's so cool that you took that and put it towards putting yourself out there and acting, that's so cool, man.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's really cool that you put it that way, and that I've never really thought of it that way. But yeah, if anything, it's just like, yeah, I've in a weird way, I've always been a perfectionist. So I've always been like someone who's very harshly. It's sometimes it's not in a healthy way, but I'm very like critical of myself and just like any kind of performance. And I don't know, maybe that did come from video games. I was always competitive at video games as a little kid, but now it's like now I'm more of like sometimes competitive and like yeah, what I'm passionate about more and more. And so it's funny in a weird way. Um, it's funny to bring video games into the conversation, but in a weird way, video games, yeah, like taught me kind of be like competitive a little bit more here and there, but not obviously to an unhealthy degree or to or like a toxic way, but like just like knowing, just having self-worth in a way and discovering that and just
Yeah.
applying that to other things such as
Yeah.
acting and performance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And talk a little bit about your music. Because I was reading your bio on IMDb,
Right.
and I think as a creative, especially as an actor, I think we look for different ways. And what came first? Did the music come first or acting? It sounded like music.
That's a great question. I guess very technically music, because as a kid, that was what something. My dad's very musically inclined as well, and also is my sister, and so it's funny. That's something that he just thought that I would be good at, which I think I'm fairly good at as well. And he kind of knew that I at least had like an ear for it. And so, I took like 9 years, 8 or 9 years of piano lessons. And that's kind of how
Wow.
if anything, my journey of discovering arts kind of started. It was through
Yeah.
music and just like discovering that arts are a thing and like just like knowing how to play music. It really, as a kid, I was like, it was funny. I was going to these piano lessons just to go to them because my dad wanted me to go to them. I was playing
Yeah.
piano just because I know my dad wants me to do it. And then, nowadays it's like I'm so glad that I'm able to say that I've done that stuff and that I'm able to kind of adapt it to things. But it's funny. I know that in my bio, if you probably read it, like I say that I've released some music, and it's funny that you ask which came first because technically, I was kind of exploring both when I was starting on my acting journey. It's like as soon as
Yeah.
that whole like Aladdin thing started. I mean, it was a musical for one, so like
Yeah.
there's that, right? Um, but so yeah, using that as well, and then just like yeah, going into using. I was like just seeing what else I could create, other than
Yeah.
just creating a performance. I was like, let me see if I can create some music and my piano skills that I have and stuff. And yeah, lo and behold, I kind of like in during middle school, it was one of those things where it's like sometimes you get a spike of inspiration. You just get like and like something just starts in you where you're like, oh, I have to make this thing. I feel something very strongly, and I
Right.
I really want to write it down or just make it or create it. And so that's exactly what happened to me in high school. It was just like I wrote made two songs ever, but like those two songs to me were just really close, and they talk about people that I've had have had interesting interactions with, but also people that I'm very close with as well. And so it came from the heart, and it was just something that came out of me as an artist. So yeah, that's kind of how that happened.
That's
Yeah,
super cool.
beautiful, man. And when
That's
you're
super
Yeah.
at
cool.
that age, that's when you're learning who you are. I mean, you're always learning who you are, but your teen years, and you're in your early 20s now, I believe, right?
Right. Yeah.
You're closer to finding yourself and your core. And it's great that you were able to do that. And dude, it's not just two songs. You wrote two
That
songs.
yeah,
Never put it down
I
like that,
appreciate
man.
that.
this is the crazy part to jump on what Eric was saying because and like obviously when you
I
first
don't want
start
to tell you
out.
what I was doing at 16 and 17, man.
Please no, this is a family
It was
episode.
getting in trouble for
Skateboarding.
skateboarding, Larry.
There you
That's what
go.
it was.
There
Oh,
you
Getting
that
go.
in
There you
trouble
I
for
go.
tried that. I
skateboarding.
very
There you go.
much tried that, and I wasn't as good though.
Oh,
I'll tell you that. I could barely do like an ollie or a kickflip. So yeah.
but as a musician, as an actor, and this is not a bad thing, but it's kind of like, we don't just to hear you say, and Eric is right. Just to hear you say, well, it was just two songs. Dude, you wrote music. You wrote a song. You wrote two songs. You did your own music. And I think for better or worse, whatever that looks and feels like to you, I think when other people like myself and probably even Eric hear you say that you wrote two songs and that you're musically inclined, I mean that is something that inspires. I mean, you inspire me to
Wow.
to to be better at my
You're a
craft.
good musician yourself, Larry. Give
Oh,
yourself some more
thank well,
credit, man.
thank you.
Hey,
I
I am good
appreciate
at
that.
making playlists. I am
There
very,
you go.
very good at that.
I'm the
There you
same way
go.
right now as well. Yeah, I can relate.
There you go. But as a musician, and do you feel that the rhythm that's inside you, does it make you a better actor?
Wow, that's yeah, that's it's interesting that you say that. I mean, I do. Well, that you say rhythm because yeah, it's funny as I've learned more and more about acting. There are some times where there is a rhythm to like maybe saying a couple lines or to doing a certain action and stuff. And so in a weird way, yeah, it really has. Uh, Funny enough, in the last project that I just wrapped up, it was called Don't Say Good Luck, and it was more of a it was a movie about well, I don't know much. Hold up, I don't know how much I can say about it yet.
It's a movie. That's all we
But
can
all,
say. It
yeah,
was
all I can say,
filmed.
yeah, all I can say is that like being musically inclined definitely helped me on that project,
I
and
love it.
in a lot more ways than one. And again, it's just like it's now finding a newfound appreciation for things that I've done in the past and things that I didn't know was gonna amount to anything. It was like me just doing
Right.
it to do it. Again, like I kind of just did piano lessons just because like, my dad told me to get out of the house, it was like one of those things. And then, you find out later that it just really helps. And same goes for funny that you kept mentioning that I'm a director, but like I've directed one short film of mine, and it was literally just like a 15-minute YouTube video that was a huge passion project of mine because again I had that moment where I was like I
Yeah.
something sparked in me and I want to write this script and I have a message and a story that I want to tell, and it was like straight from my pocket kind of passion project on my iPhone, but like it was like I have an idea. I know what
That's
I
so
want, and I
cool,
have some
man.
friends that of mine that are actors that I want to put together. And it was like, I don't know what it's going to amount to. You know, I'm doing this because I feel something, because I'm an
Yeah.
Is it
artist, and because I want to.
available to see right now, or is
It
it
Yeah.
not?
is, yeah, yeah, it is. It's still on YouTube right now. It's called It's Her, and you'll see it under my name if you just look up It's Her and then Ethan Costanilla. But
Okay.
it was with a friend of mine, and it was like I was I was doing community college. I have no money, like barely. It was like I'm gonna do this because I feel passionate about it. And so yeah, I put it together, and I had a little mini premiere at my house for it with a lot of my friends
Oh
and
my
stuff.
God.
And it was so much fun. It was the thing that I take away the most about it though. It's just it was such a learning experience to be behind the camera for the first time,
Right.
of
Yeah.
just
Right.
like knowing that whole process and doing this as a one man job. It was like it was me behind, yeah, it was me behind the camera,
Yeah.
and doing the editing
Right.
and doing the film location scout
Yeah. Yeah.
and all that. It was just
Yeah.
me.
You know,
Uh,
it's before we record it, we were talking off air, but in a way, you are a producer. You are a total
Oh,
filmmaker because
I
you
guess,
did
yeah.
it all. And I think that's what people kind of take for granted because like when you're with a crew and you have somebody and you're the director, you go, hey, can you go look for this location, hey, can you do
Mm,
this, can you do that,
mm,
then they become the producer and they help you and all that. But when you do it yourself, it makes you, I think, and I'm going to ask you this, but
yeah,
I think it makes you a smarter actor, and I
I was
think
about
it
to get
makes
into
you
that.
more in tune with the direction of the script and maybe thinking ahead of if you thought of something and when you're on set and you do it and the director's like, man, I didn't even think about that. That's great. It helps you build your character in a way without you even knowing, but you just understand the camera. You understand how it moves and all this stuff. And it's a weird thing, but it's a beautiful thing. So, yeah. And
yeah.
by the way, your short film, we'll put a link in the
Yeah, I was
description
Oh,
about to
so
oh my
say
people
if
can
you
gosh.
watch it.
could
Yeah.
Thank you.
email
Yeah.
it to me,
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
drop it in the link in the
Yeah.
description so
Yes.
Yeah,
everybody
for
can
Yeah.
check it
sure.
out.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
appreciate it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
And what's
Um,
man.
so great about your generation right now with technology is you have an amazing camera in your pocket at
yeah,
all time. And you
yeah,
have, even if you're just using like a basic editing program, it doesn't have
right.
to be Premiere. You have an amazing editing program on you at all time. I came from the VHS tape and mini DV era when I
Man,
was in
Right.
film school.
that was
Like
before I was born.
getting oh jeez, I hate you right now. No, but
So sorry.
no, no, it's cool. But what's so great is if you have a story you want to tell and you're brave enough, boom, you put it on
Yeah.
YouTube. You've got a song you want to say,
Yeah,
like you could either go busking on the street or
yeah,
just put it up on YouTube and it's
yeah.
there for the world to see. And I think that's what's because you seem to me like you're a pretty brave person
Thank
because of
you.
all this stuff you were doing and an outgoing one. And I do think that's going to help you a lot with auditioning and when you
Yeah.
start getting offers because of that. And like
Yeah.
Larry said, the more behind the camera experience you have, the better you understand
Yeah.
filmmaking as a whole. I took an acting class when I was studying film in
And
community.
it paid off too.
Yeah,
In
because
the horror film.
I wanted to understand acting better. I'm a
Yeah.
big MMA fan, and I remember reading that this journalist, I forget his name, wanted to understand fighting more. So he entered an amateur MMA contest and learned how to
Take a
cut weight
punch.
and get
Oh wow.
ready for the fight.
That's
So that
crazy.
way you
Wow.
Yeah.
understand the whole gamut of what this is. And you right now are able to do because I know you're going to
Yeah.
end up making more short films. I can tell already. You got that
Yeah.
look.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know. We'll see. I hope so.
You
Um,
are, dude. Come on. You know
Yeah.
you are. You've got
Yeah.
some in the back of your mind that
oh
you're
yeah.
wanting to do.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
I've got a question. Have you seen Pitch Perfect?
It's funny. I have recently just watched the first two, I think, with my girlfriend. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, good. Because you know you've got the rhythm in you.
Yeah, you're
Because
right.
but,
I've got the magic in me, you
oh
know?
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
but really it's a rhythm. But it's
Yeah.
also the magic. But
Yeah.
which and I think that's one of the things that makes you so inspiring because you know you have all different types of and I
Yeah.
find this with actors. This is nothing against actors,
Right.
but they kind of wait to be cast into something.
Yeah.
And then it becomes hard. And then
Yeah.
it becomes, you know, but with
Yeah.
you, just like your music, you just make it. And you don't have to, this is weird. You don't have to ask for permission. You don't have to make something and go, "Hey, Warner Brothers, hey, you
Right.
know, Sony, I have
Yeah.
a music you want to listen, you can put it up
Yeah.
yourself."
Yeah.
And
And
I
they
think
find you.
yeah,
So
Mhm.
exactly, exactly. And I agree with Eric. I don't think you should stop making films. As a director, as a producer, I don't think you should stop making music. And I don't think you do, and I
Yeah.
don't think you will. But I think I think and it's weird because the things that we do today or did a year ago or
Mhm.
10, maybe not 10 years ago for you, but
Right.
6 years ago,
Right.
right? Those are the things that people will point to and go, remember when?
Mm.
Because you're setting yourself up for success with every little thing that you do.
Yeah.
And and I mean, do you so I even want to talk to you about how you like your audition process, but it's so hard.
Right.
we're gonna get into that. Yeah.
This is the hard part. We
Right.
only have about 45 minutes,
I
right?
got you. Yeah.
And we
Or as
got
long as you want.
oh
If you want to
yeah.
go
I mean,
Yeah,
longer,
if
please.
you
we'll go
got
longer,
time
man.
Yeah,
and
I definitely got time for
well
sure.
Oh, then
and
we're gonna go longer, dude. Get
yeah,
comfortable. Get
Yeah.
a
because
drink.
because you are at the level that people want to be at.
Right.
And I don't think that goes over your head because I think you're right there. I mean, you're in the number one, number two movie, right?
Right.
And you
Yeah.
just did a Netflix movie.
Yeah.
Um and 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 I mean, look, I'm putting it on you, man. You're getting noticed and looked at. And you're on your way. You really are on your way, but just don't stop the hustle. You
Yeah.
know, that's the thing. Don't stop the hustle.
It,
And I will tell you, I talk a lot, but
no, yeah.
you are very, very inspiring.
Thank you.
Again, for people out there that are listening to this and that will watch this, this
Steve Rogers agrees with
Ethan,
you, dude.
see,
He totally
I'm
agrees with
glad.
you. And
thank you, Ethan. You're where people want to be, and I mean, what's it? I know I asked you, what's it like? Has it even like set in? Because I know it's kind of like a whirlwind, right? And everything
Yeah.
just is coming at you.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a great question. I it's been interesting, yeah, for it to settle in. And it's one of those things where um I feel like, at least for me personally, I never wanted to go over my head about something like this, you know. But at
Yeah,
the same time, I would never want to um settle on it. It is keeping that hustle, you know. It
yeah,
is like being able to appreciate that I am in this and I'm in like the number two movie in the world right now, and
yeah.
but also knowing that I got to keep going. You know,
Right.
you
Yeah.
can't like settle for this, and it's like it's kind of having that mentality. And so yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that. Yeah, I just like it's been such a learning process, and it's been also just an eye opener for me. Just this whole thing.
Good.
I mean, you know, I'm going to a premiere. That like the Regretting premiere was like my first ever premiere ever in my
Wow.
entire life, and
oh,
so that already was such an eye-opening experience of just like they just throw you in there, man. They just it's so funny. I like
Right.
I get there and like they just throw you in there and they say, "Hey, you're gonna get some pictures taken over here. You're gonna answer some questions, do some interviews." And like I know all of those interviews that I did were like all first timers for me. It was like
Wow.
wow, man.
such an eye-opening learning experience. And then, you know, seeing the movie for the first time that day as well. Like I never saw the movie before, and then seeing
Wow.
it then after all that, it was, it's cliche to say, but it is still so surreal
Yeah.
just to see this happen. I mean, it's so funny. I've been an actor for, yeah, technically 6 years now, and I've been doing theater, but I never started really pursuing screen acting until maybe like a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
And so already with that being said, I am so lucky and so blessed to
Yeah.
like be where I'm at right now. And
Yeah.
I hope that I never forget that, because it's tough, man. It's
It
a tough
is.
industry. You know, I know some people that have done this for way longer than I have. And
Yeah.
I wish for an opportunity for that. And I wish with every fiber in my being to every one of those people and to friends that I have that are in very similar situations to tell them how to get here, you know, to how to do. And I could tell them exactly every step that I've done. I could tell them everything that I've done to get here. But what's so funny about this industry is that it's someone could follow in the exact same footsteps as you, but it doesn't always turn out the exact same way.
yeah.
Right.
And
Right.
that's just how it is. And that's
Yeah.
something that I feel like every actor has to kind of live with at some point. I mean, that's definitely something that I've had to live with at some point. I mean, it's funny. I as much as I am doing these things, it's like I'm always telling myself like, oh, I could be more. I could do something. I could do something.
Mm.
This. I could do this and that. And that's just like, you know, my working brain. That's just my
Yeah.
trying to keep myself humble and working kind of
Yeah.
brain.
Yeah. Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, yeah, you going into this industry, and especially just the screen acting world in general, from theater and going into this where you're just, it's so funny. In theater, you go sign up for a community theater and you audition for a play, and hopefully you get an ensemble. And even if
Yeah.
you're in the ensemble, it's like you still like go through that whole process. In screen acting, it's so funny. You send out these auditions, and as you said, you just wait. You just like, you try to keep yourself warm. You try to take some acting classes. You try to make things, you know, like how I did. And that's actually exactly why I did it. I was in such a paralysis state where I was like, what am I doing? I was like,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm not moving at all in any sort of way. And so that's why I made that film. That's why it resulted in me just making different things, because I was just scared of paralysis.
Right.
And so, yeah. So it's just
Yeah.
like, it's one of those things where it's like everyone, you kind of realize that everyone's at that state. And it's also just really nice, I have to say, to know that everyone is at that state, to know that there's so many other people. It's not just you. It's not just you that's going through this crisis in your head of like, what am I doing with my life? Is like, you know, is this worth it? Is this worth the shifts that I pick up at my workplace? Is this worth, you know, the heartaches and the tears and the stuff? And, you know, I totally understand some of my friends, you know, they just completely gave up on acting. You know, some of my friends that I've acted with a long time, and it's sad to see, you know, like I totally get it. I totally get it, because it is just such a, in a weird way, it's kind of a selective industry, and it's a selective art form. But you know, I don't know. I've seen a lot of sides of it now, and I still have yet to see a lot more sides, I feel like, of it later on in the future. But from everything that I've seen so far, it's been such a humbling, but also rewarding, but also so many other adjectives I could use, but like it's been such a humbling experience, at least for me, for sure.
So let's talk about the casting process for Regretting You.
Oh yeah.
Were you familiar with the book? And if so, in the book, was your character Asian? That's a question I had right away.
That's a great question. Yeah, I wasn't familiar with the book at all. It's also one of those things where you get the audition and it's like you only have enough time to research about the book before you just have to send that audition in. So all I knew was that Efren was this quirky, awkward, like kind of side character that was he was very clearly like a bit more on the comic relief side of things. And so that's always been my energy I bring. So that's kind of how I auditioned for the part. And later on, I ended up reading the book, and it's funny. Yeah, he actually is he is not only Asian, he is Filipino, which is what I
Oh,
am.
okay.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
And so that was really cool to see. I remember in the audition they actually were asking for Filipino actors, and that's the first time I've ever seen any audition ask for Filipino actors.
That's
A lot of my
awesome.
auditions have been any ethnicity.
Right, right.
It's been like,
Yeah.
whatever happens, happens. And then this one comes along and it's like, it's asking for Filipino actors. And so it was after seeing that, even if I wasn't going to get the part, it was just so nice to see Filipino actors given a chance. I haven't seen that personally a lot for me in Hollywood. Even after I would like do research, I was like, who's other Filipino actors? And
So there was a movie called The Debut, which is a full Filipino cast.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
wow. I've never.
have many Filipino friends. I mean, I ate adobo and lumpia
Yes.
for
Oh, my
years.
gosh. You know it, man. You know. Yeah. It's like
But no,
that's
look it up. The Debut. It's she's turning 16 or 17,
Mm.
and it's just all of her friends like experiencing Filipino culture
Oh,
for
really?
the first
Wow.
time.
Wow,
Early
I've never heard.
2000s, way before you were born.
Oh, right, yeah. That's probably why I've never.
Yeah.
But no, that's really cool. Yeah, so yeah, it was cool to see another Filipino character just like being implemented into this. And then also it was such a surprise to me as well. Like when I was getting through the casting process, I was introduced to Sam, who plays Lexi in the film. And they are also Filipino. And I was like, oh my gosh, wait,
Oh.
that's so cool. And if anything, me and Sam, we bonded a lot on set just through that alone. And yeah, it was just like Sam was like my icebreaker on set. I gotta be honest. It's funny. Working with McKenna and Mason, it's for one, it was like just to get where we're coming from. This is me coming from doing theater in my community college.
Right. Yeah.
And
yeah.
I maybe did one other project before this. I did a project called Oh What Fun that's coming out this year with Michelle Pfeiffer on Christmas. And
Wow.
that one is really cool. That one was like my first ever set. And I had only like 3 days of that. And so there was, that was another thing where they just threw me in there. It was like, oh, I gotta I literally remember the night before I was like looking on YouTube, just like what to do on set. What's my first, what's do my first day?
Yeah.
I love that, man. I love that.
What are things I should know and stuff. And it's so funny because it was like, as I was researching, I was like, I feel like no one talks about this. No one talks about like the first day on any kind of set and like how scary that is. I feel like sometimes, and just what to do. And there's no I feel like everyone just sometimes assumes of like what you should, like everyone knows what to do on first days. But I was completely green, and I remember I couldn't even sleep the night before. Like I was trying so hard because I was so scared. I was so nervous. For this project, my first ever like professional project. And so that was like the only thing I've ever had beforehand. Like 3 days of that. And then I get this role for this movie. And I realized, oh my gosh, I'm going to be on set with McKenna Grace and Mason Thames and Dave Franco and all these incredible actors that I feel like I have nothing to live up to.
Wow.
Don't think like that.
Yeah.
Don't,
No.
I know what you mean because of the other movies they've been in, like Mason, Black Phone, and Regretting You. Mackenzie's gonna be in Scream 7, so I understand that the little bit of intimidation, but you earned a spot there, man. Never forget that. You earned it, just like they did.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I had to keep telling myself in a way. Like I was casted, I'm here for a certain reason, and they picked me. But it's just funny. It's like it was every day on set with them. It was so
magical. Was it magical?
It was. Oh my gosh, yes, it was most definitely magical. Oh my gosh, like every day on set was a treat. It was just me thinking like, am I dreaming right now? Like there's no way this is happening. Yeah. And again, so like with that being said, I was just so intimidated to meet them, and but like it was so nice meeting Sam first day. It made it so much smoother, and then just also McKenna and Mason just being so welcoming and so nice to me and to Sam. It was I couldn't have asked for a more welcoming time my first day on set with them. So that I can't thank them enough for that, just giving me the time of day just to have one-on-one conversations with them every once in a while and just hanging out inside a set. And that just made things a lot smoother. But yeah, yeah.
Because I
Um,
got the chemistry right away with you and Mason. I was like, oh yeah, these guys are boys. They're
oh
definitely
man.
friends. My favorite scene is when she comes to you at the concession stand and you get
Yeah.
on the walkie and start talking to like, yeah, that's exactly how two
Oh,
lifelong friends would act. And I love how AMC was such a big part of the movie. Other people might
yeah.
look down on that, but I always look at it as, hey, yeah, that's where these kids are going to see the movie.
Right,
And right
right.
now they're smiling. Hey, I'm in AMC. They work at AMC.
You're right. Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that. I never realized how kind of like big it was going to be a part of the movie. It's really funny that like one of the most iconic kissing scenes of the movie was in the AMC, and I remember we all shot that in like one day. But no, we were having the best time on that site specifically. I remember Josh Boone, the director, or I forget, it was someone on set that let basically got the soda machines to work, and so McKenna, Mason, and me were always like getting a bunch of free sodas from that machine, just like using that to as much as we wanted. And then yeah, it was just like it was also just it was so funny to be kind of behind the counter of an AMC for the first time in my life. I mean, I always go to AMC's when I watch movies, but that was such a funny experience. And then yeah, no, it was just I'm glad that you mentioned that you kind of really felt some of the chemistry there, because if anything, that very technically that was my first day meeting or like working with them.
Wow,
Mason and
really?
McKenna.
Wow.
Yeah, all of the AMC scenes. Because I mean, technically, very technically, my first day was the I don't know if you guys remember the scene, but it's like a very small scene in a montage in the movie where we're watching like Friday the 13th or something, and I get
Oh
scared.
yeah.
I
Oh yeah.
like
I
jump
remember
out,
that.
and I
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, which was really funny. That was technically that was my first impression of them.
Wow.
So it's funny. You can see them if you watch the clip again, you can see them laughing and like looking at me. That was just genuinely them laughing and looking
That,
at me, because I screamed so loud, and it was so funny after they yelled cut. They were like, that was so funny and that was so scary. So that was really cool. But my first time genuinely like connecting with them and working with them was at that AMC. And so that was the time where I was really like working on just getting the ice to break there. Like I didn't get time with them before that or after that yet. And it was yeah, just working with Mason the first time, and me and Mason, man, we kind of just clicked. It was so nice. He is such a. It's funny you mentioned like, oh, these are just like guys or friends or boys hanging out. It was like I was just hanging out with another high school friend of mine with him.
Yeah.
He's just like we're making jokes, and we're always like just like having such fun times behind the camera and before shoot and stuff. And it just ended up bleeding into the what is the film. And I'm so glad, if anything, that you pointed out that it like you felt that chemistry, because that's, if anything, that was one thing I was striving for. Just that chemistry between Efren and Miller, because that's kind of something that they describe in the book, that they're very close, and they're just like two boys just always having fun and being film bros and film buffs.
yeah.
Yeah.
Going
Wait,
from
I have one more question,
Yeah, yeah,
Logan,
okay,
and
yeah.
I'll
go
let
ahead.
you answer that.
Yeah.
What was it like working with Mr. Krabs?
Oh man. So it's funny. It's funny that you say that. Yeah, everyone did say like, "Oh my gosh, he's Mr. Krabs." I didn't even know he was Mr. Krabs until like very later on
What?
during one of the sets. The first thing that I recognized him from, because I'm such a nerd and I'm such a gamer, he was in a game called Detroit Become Human.
Oh my God, yes, yes,
Yes,
I
he
forgot
and
about
it and
that.
it that was something that I'm such a nerd about. So I remember like that was something I like, because his face is in the game and he plays as his character in the game. And it's so
That's
funny too.
cool.
The correlation in the movie, his name is Hank. In the game, his name is also Hank.
That's
And I was
right.
like, oh my gosh. I was like, that's so funny. That's so cool. And I wanted to, he was the one I wanted to ask so many questions about every time I had a moment with him. But if anything, it was also one of those times where I was very intimidated, and I was just like, I didn't want to bother him at all during the
Right.
set. But yeah,
Yeah.
And
he
for
was,
all the non-gamers out there, Detroit Become Human is one of the best cinematic experiences you will ever have, and not
yeah,
just game-wise. I mean, I would The
yeah,
Last of Us is the great one of the greatest things I've ever experienced. Detroit Become Humans top 10 because
yeah,
it makes you understand let's be honest, a different race. I mean, I'm not white,
Right.
so I
Yeah.
already understand that. But I think for a lot of people playing that game, you see, wow, there really is racial differences, and you're able to unlike
Mm.
the robots have to ride in back of the
Yeah.
bus. I
Yeah, it
wonder
was
what they're
interesting.
hinting at.
But yeah, if anything, just like it was just cool to talk about games like that in general because like I feel like I'm about to go on a tangent here.
Do it,
I'm
do
trying to
it,
stop
do it.
myself, but like no, I do think that there's just mentioning how you're talking about The Last of Us and Detroit Become Human, and it's funny more and more nowadays. We're seeing a lot of video game adaptations. We're seeing Last of
Good
Us as a
ones.
show with Pedro Pascal, and we're seeing one of my favorite shows is Fallout with Ella Purnell, which was
Yes.
great. I loved that show. That's another video game, and then you have some other things coming out, and it's funny. Like people are starting to realize something that I've been wanting, trying to shout from the mountains forever now. That I feel like there's a lot of narrative in video games that's very undermined, and there's like there's just some games that have great stories that to be told and stuff. But that's just me going
Now
on. That's
I'm
like a
gonna
whole side thing. I don't
piggyback
want to
on
like
your
just.
tangent because I noticed the Spider-Man poster in the back of you.
Oh
My
yeah.
favorite Spider-Man is the PS4 and PS5 game. That's my
You're speaking my
favorite
language.
version of Spider-Man.
You're literally speaking my language. Yeah, no, again, I just like there's some great story writers out there with some of those things. But yeah. Anyways, again, just back to
Yeah,
regretting it.
back to the movie.
What we're supposed to be talking about. Yeah, it was just
At,
great.
at what point because it's interesting because this is considered is it considered an independent film?
Regretting you?
Yeah, yeah. Because
I
I know it's got a pretty big budget.
Right. I
And oh, go ahead.
no. Sorry. I actually I don't know per se. I didn't honestly make that assumption at first because yeah, it is Paramount Pictures and
Hmm.
it's I guess in a way it could be seen that I could totally see that, especially because Josh Boone, one of his movies, at least one of my favorite movies, was his first film, and it was very much an indie film. Indie film. It was called Stuck in Love, and that was I love that film, and it was very indie vibes. And I think that's funny that you say that. Even if it's not considered an
Right,
independent
right.
film, it definitely has that feel in a way. I feel like because
Yeah,
Josh Brune, I feel like he brings that to the table
yeah.
with a lot of his films and just that groundedness of it. Yeah.
I almost
a
feel that
very
if it's not
cozy and intimate movie is how
Yeah.
I
oh
would
yeah.
put it.
And I think if it's not like a Marvel movie or a big tentpole movie,
Yeah.
I think then people go, you know, that is maybe a little indie feel. And I don't think that's a bad thing at all. I
Yeah. Yeah.
really
Yeah.
don't. I don't think. But talking about the
And
director,
he directed a great superhero movie, the
Oh
New
yeah.
Mutants,
The
that
New
more
Mutants.
people should talk about
Yeah.
because
Yeah. Yeah.
man, that was good.
That was
yeah,
cool.
yeah. What was that like working with him?
Oh my gosh. That. Yeah. It's funny. It's funny how I talk about how I was intimidated by Mason McKenna, but like, if anything, I was. It's so funny how it turned out because like Stuck in Love, I'm not a big rom-com guy. I got to be 100% honest,
Oh
but
wow.
like it was funny. My girlfriend made me watch Stuck in Love one day because she was like, "I love this film so much, you have to watch it." I was like, "Okay, sure, yeah, let's watch or whatever." But yeah, it ended up being one of my favorite rom-coms ever, just because of how grounded and how real it was for all ages and stuff. And so um, going into that, like getting this audition and hearing that director Josh Boone was directing it, I immediately called my girlfriend. I was like, "Hey, holy crap! Like this is Josh Boone. Like this is the director of your favorite movie." Blah blah blah. And that's so cool. And then yeah, like I ended up getting the part, and I remember the first day, which was that scene with me watching Friday the 13th. Josh was just like he was so. It makes me want to cry how nice he was. Like he was
Wow.
so.
Wow.
I can't describe it. Like again, like I can feel very imposter syndrome, and me and Sam talked about this, just like working with these people and on this big budget film, but and I was just very timidly just like being there. I was like, okay, I'm gonna show up, do my lines. I'm gonna like I'm not gonna have any expectations of anything. I'm not gonna like expect for all of us to be friends immediately.
Yeah.
But before our first take, like I haven't seen Josh at all yet in person, and finally I'm just looking around for him, and he just like appears in front of me behind the camera, and he's like, "Hey!" And I'm like, he's so excited to see me for the first time, and that was just so nice. I obviously reciprocated, and I was like, "Yo, dude, what's up?" And I was like, I got to give him a hug and stuff, and it was just like it was such a surreal moment for me, just because I am so into like just the directors and the way that things are behind the camera, and so just knowing his work and how much I love his work, it was so cool to see him be so excited and so welcoming, and he even before our first take, he even brought me behind the camera to like see the shot.
Wow.
Yeah, to like show me like how it was going to work in the shots and stuff. Cause I did tell him how I did a short film before, and he knows that I'm kind of in that realm a little bit and interested in that. So he was so nice to show me like, yeah, just the behind the scenes of it all and how it was going to work out. And so I have so much to thank him for, and he's done so many good favors for me.
That's
just
awesome, man.
being like a new guy on the set, and yeah, it was that moment for me was just it's such a heartwarming moment for me. And he was also the first person to tell me that I got casted, which was crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, that was also a moment that I'll never forget, because I was in my Target job, just working away.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool, man.
I was in the back rooms. This is a really funny story. I was in the back rooms.
I can't wait to hear it.
I get the call, and it's obviously I don't have his number, so it's just from this number that it says it's from California, and I get a lot of spam calls on my phone.
Right,
I don't know. I didn't know.
Right.
I was like, who's this? I was like, okay, cool. So I just like leave it to go, and he ends up leaving a voicemail for me.
Oh my gosh.
And as soon as I started playing in the back rooms, I hear, "Hey Ethan, it's Josh Spoon." My heart drops.
Wow.
My heart drops. And I was like, "Are you serious?" And he just like it continues, and he just says, "Hey, I just want to call and say that you got the job." And
wow.
I like immediately started shaking. I started like I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I ran out of the back rooms to go to the bathroom to go like call call him back first and like say like, "Hey, thank you so much for calling me," and stuff. And then immediately calling my mom and then my girlfriend and stuff. And just like, even though I was already on the clock, but we're not just talk about that.
Yeah.
It was like one of those moments. I need to say it. And just remember as I was running the bathroom, all the like the guests in the Target store were like looking at me weirdly. I was like, "Oh no, you don't understand. Sorry, hold up. I gotta make this call." And yeah, it was, oh my gosh. I was like on cloud nine. It
reminds me of that scene in have you seen That Thing You Do, the Tom Hanks movie?
Yes,
where they hear their song on the radio for the first time.
That's actually a great way to describe that. Yeah, that is exactly how it was for me. It was such a mind-blowing moment for me, and just having his number on my phone and all that stuff. It was just like crazy to see. And eventually at one of the screenings, my girlfriend got to take a picture with him, and it was it's such a weird like full circle moment. Like she was the one who showed me this film for the first time, and so like now it's crazy for her to for me to be able to get her to see her favorite movie's director. And I was like, yeah, this is so nice. So yeah, it's crazy working with him.
And kudos to him for understanding. I looked up everybody. They all have like some big credits. You're gonna have yours, but understanding, hey, I have to take this kid behind the curtain and show him how it works, and respecting you as an artist and thinking, like if he would have just thrown you out there, but like, "Hey, let me show you how this works. This is how we're going to do it." That was a way of connecting with you and helping you understand that it's just making a movie. It's not this big, like, there's a scene in the movie Hoosiers where Gene Hackman takes the basketball team who've only played in this small town. He takes them to the court with a tape measurer and measures the court like, "Hey, that's the same length as our court back home." Well, hey, that rim, it's the same size as our court back home. And for him to show you, it's just like the movie you made. It's the same thing, setting up and all of that, and bringing you in a nice, comforting way so that you're not deer in the headlights while it's all going on.
Right. Yeah. No, exactly. He was so nice for sure. Yeah.
I think it's very sweet because, and again, to go back to, don't ever lose that enthusiasm. I remember, when I was doing the acting thing, and every commercial I got, and I was working at Universal Studios, so I'd be like
Yeah.
working, and I'd be like jumping up and down and screaming and because everything that you do is a win because of everything actors have to go through, and
Yeah.
kind of like what you were talking about. And 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 I think that shows the kind of not just a director but a person of what Josh did. And he certainly understands and he realizes that. And I think I don't know how you guys think about this, but I think just like with everything else, I think we as people have to be encouragers and embrace everybody that takes a step out of themselves, because we all
Yeah.
have a line, right? We all
Yeah.
kind of want to stay behind that line, and we don't want this, we don't want recognition. No, don't look at me. I know I'm talking to you. But
Yeah.
then once you step over that and you realize that people do see like the inner you, the it's kind of like the Care Bears, right?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
Care Bear?
Not
So,
too
because
familiar, but yeah.
well, they did the Care Bear stare, and I think
Yeah.
I think everybody has that, right? Where they have this light that shines within them, and people, when they're shy, they kind of keep it to themselves. But people
Right.
that take the step out and go, "Here's my Care Bear stare, man, check it out,"
Yeah.
and I think it's sweet, and I think it's very it says a lot about looking at people and going, "Hey, look, congratulations. We're all on this journey together. Why don't
Yeah.
you come over here and just join in?" Because
Yeah.
that's a big part of filmmaking. Especially as a small crew, and as it gets bigger, it gets a little bit more insulated or whatever. But you become this family, right? And you get to
Yeah.
sit
Yeah.
there and you get to laugh with each other and you get to celebrate wins, and if it's an emotional scene and all that
Yeah.
beautiful stuff.
Yeah.
Makes me think when we were doing Hillsborough Road, our slasher movie, we did a lot of rehearsals over
Mhm,
Zoom, so everybody
mhm,
got to know each other. And one of
Oh,
my
mhm.
favorite
that's great.
days was we were in our kill room where our bad guy is, and we were just hanging out there talking, and I told everybody, hey, be in character right now.
Mm.
So everybody was in character. And then me and some of the guys were driving around and they were in character. And I was like directing them. This was no camera, no anything. We did a prequel to the
Wow.
movie while in the car
Oh,
so that
wow.
everybody could feel like they're the characters. And as a
Right.
director, my favorite thing is when an actor says, yeah, my character wouldn't do that.
Mm.
They would do this. And I have to go, yeah, okay, make it so, do it.
Mm. Yeah. It's nice that you say that because I guess, and it's funny that that's where you kind of, there's a weird like gauge that you have. I feel like when going into a movie like this, like Regretting You, and especially when you're new, it's like, well, just being a new actor in general on these kinds
Mhm.
of sets, like, you don't know what you can take charge of,
Yeah.
yet. You kind of gotta get a lay of the field and just like see what the director's okay with, what everyone else is
Hmm.
okay with, because you don't want to, it'd be the worst thing to step out of line. It'd be the worst thing to make the day harder after everyone's, making is already probably having a hard day, and so that's, if anything, why it's funny. As small as Efren is, kind of, I feel like sometimes a little bit in the book, at least for sure, but sometimes in the movie. And I was, I was like going all in. Ended up making like a whole character journal
I
just for
love that.
Efren, and
That's
Yeah.
so
I
cool.
would like write down what would happen in between scenes, like just things that maybe
Ooh.
happened in between then or before then,
Awesome, man.
why he is this way, and like just diving deep into that. I mean, there's little bits of information that I get from Efren in the book, but I took everything that I could into just diving into those little bits. Like
That's
for
the book, Efren. You gotta
yeah,
be Ethan's Efren,
Right.
right.
your
That
version
I
of
guess
him.
that's the
Right.
thing as well, right? Because you gotta like
Yeah.
balance it out. You never
Yeah.
know if there's gonna be someone in the book who really likes his character or like really wants to see a good adaptation. But also, bringing what you have to the table is important as well. You don't want
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
completely phone in a performance. But that's what I'm saying as well. Like there was a lot of going into the study of Efren. There was a lot of him that I did just relate to him like one on one. It was so weird. Like the everything I was learning about him, I was like, oh, I've gone through probably everything that this guy has gone through. So there was a lot of the just like bringing myself to the table as well, and that just fit perfectly. And that the book mentions is that how Efren, he moved from the Philippines at a very like a bit of a late age, like maybe early middle school or high school around that time. And so it was funny to kind of dive into it. And like again, like, you know, he's not that big of a character, but it was like I want to dive into this as much as I can. So it was like thinking like, okay, he probably left all of his friends from the Philippines that he used to like be really close with. And so he's going to this technically foreign state to him. And I feel like that's why a lot of his scenes and why a lot of what he is awkward. He's very just like I the only friend I have right now is Miller, because Miller is the only other guy that like has this connecting passion of film with me right now, and no one else really has yet to fit the vibe. So like Miller is the only person he's really truly friends with in that. And so just having that, and I know exactly how that feels. Like I was been at that stage in high school where like I only have like maybe one friend, and so it's a very awkward position and isolating position to be, because now it's like every other person you're interacting with, or however your whole being is, it's very just like shy and it's very timid. You don't know who else is going to catch your same vibe, and it's like, I'll just be here. And so
see, not knowing the book, I didn't know that he just moved there. I just got that. And it's all due to your performance. And stop talking about what a small character he is. No, because seriously, there's little Filipino guys and girls who went to see that movie. You're like, wow, there's someone who looks like me on stage. It's like with Whoopi Goldberg watching Star Trek and seeing Lieutenant Uhura and seeing herself represented on a thing. And you know, with you, it's on a big screen. But to your performance of him, I just got that he grew up in that town and they were day one homies. That was my first thought.
That's great. I mean, that works as well. But yeah, it's just like they are what mattered to me was that they just like, it seemed like they were close, and that's the thing too, right? Because like every set, you never know. Not every set is as connecting and as welcoming and as nice as it is. Some sets can be, you know, you're just there to
just get it and go.
Get it and go. You won't really talk to. In some of these actors, they won't talk to you,
right? And
you know, they're just there to phone in a chemistry or a kind of like performance with. And you know, coming from theater, that's a bit hard for me, because in theater you literally
got to be on.
You live with these people for like 2 months. So it was in a way like getting used to that for film is like, you know, you're just like, oh, I guess it's very transactional, a lot of this stuff.
It very much,
so it was really nice being able to just be friends with Mason in real life, and also just letting that bleed into the film. And so I'm very glad that, if anything, like even if it wasn't the exact message that I was supposed to condone from Efren, I'm just glad that there was a strong chemistry that was at least found in those two characters.
Filmmakers, take note if you're listening to this. If you happen to find this, Ethan, you go above and beyond as an actor. Because you do it because you love it. And I think that speaks a lot to you and your character as well as a person.
Thank you.
Dude, just being here right now, do you think, to go back to when we were talking earlier, do you think everything you've done in maybe your life, but also your creative life, has led up to this moment in your life right now? Does it all add up?
I want to say yes, for sure, because there's just like, again, like we talked about before, it is, and I feel like this is just the life of every artist, as I've said before. It's just like, it is doing things without rational thought. I mean, that's why art, I feel like that is why art is important, because in a world that can sometimes be very logical and very just like everything has to happen for a reason or anything like that, like sometimes as artists you just feel something, and I feel like that's all sometimes something that someone needs in order to really express themselves as an artist. So going through my life and just looking back on everything that has happened and that I have done, as much as there are things that I think maybe sometimes I wasted my time on. Sometimes, there are experiences that I wish I didn't go through. There are traumatic experiences that I've had in high school and things that I wish I didn't have to go through. But there's a part of me that, and maybe it is the artist in me, that's just like, sometimes it's, as much as those things can be looked at in kind of a bad light, you never know when you can use those things. And this is kind of one of those times where it's funny, as an actor, it's almost like really nice to reflect and just be present with those things, and then harp on them and to just think of them badly, and just being able to know that this is an experience that is very unique to you and maybe no one else has gone through. And that's, I feel like, is the most important thing as an actor. It is keeping true to yourself and knowing yourself. As much as it is great to have range and to be able to step into these other characters, there's nothing more unique to an actor more than themselves.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that I had to definitely learn very quick, like had to learn
real quick.
Yeah. And I hope that this is something that a lot of actors learn as well. Like, I get how pressuring and how perfectionist some actors want to be. Like, oh, I gotta have this, I gotta be completely out of character. I gotta be not me. I can't see me. But that was exactly what I learned for this movie in particular. It was like, it was learning to lean into me, because I realized that if it fits, it fits. And you just got to know when, I feel like, to use it and what knobs to turn up and down. And that's kind of exactly what worked out for me. So, yeah.
Spoken like a true actor. I love that. And a normal human being.
Yeah, right.
As a kid, as an adult, look, as an actor, I think, because when I teach acting, you have to use your stuff. If you don't, if you don't have life experience, I get it. You have to kind of make it and fake it and all that stuff. But actors inherently come with all our stuff. Kind of like what you said, we're all up in our head. We got to get out of our head. But sometimes our head and our heart meet, and that's where the true creative actor comes out. So, I mean, Ethan, dude, I cannot tell you how. And I just met you. I am so proud of you.
And there's going to be a sequel to this. We got to have you on to talk about other stuff and really the importance of video games, because that is something.
I know.
I'm really passionate about video games and what they do for mental health at times, the positive sides of all of it.
I feel like it's just piggybacking off of that. It's funny. I think it's another art form that I feel like people don't recognize it as an art form yet. That, like, as much as video games can be very, there are some that are just purely for fun. They're just distracting. But I feel like it's the same thing for any kind of media, like for movies, for books. I mean, there are movies that aren't as strong on moral points, or as, like, they're just there to have fun. You're just there you're watching a movie to have fun, to laugh, to, and there are some movies that you watch because you want to have a life-changing experience. And so I feel like it's funny nowadays. I think we're finally getting to that point where people are recognizing that more and more, especially with the adaptations of some of these stories and stuff. And I'm so glad that just people are starting to see more of a narrative side to it. And it's funny. It's kind of put this out there. It's kind of a dream job of mine to, like, be a part of a narrative like that for, like, a video game. That would be amazing. But it's just like, just because I have an underappreciation for it, and I think it's just, that's just a little side thing for me. But
well, I can tell you, because you're putting it out there. You're putting it out there. Don't be surprised that next video game adaptation, they will contact you and your agent and your manager and anybody else.
Oh man,
you're next, because when you can connect with something like that, that's what they look
Hideo
for.
Kojima, I will pass along his information to you.
Oh man, yeah, please, that would be crazy. Yeah, that guy's a genius. But that would be amazing. But Yeah, that's just a little side like dream I have.
Yeah.
I
Well,
love
Ethan,
that.
again, man, it
I
was an
love it.
absolute blast having you on. And it's just so cool that we're going to be able to see your career grow and grow
Yes.
from here, man.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
thank
Yeah.
you so much for saying yes to us.
Dude,
Everybody,
yeah.
you can, this is going up right away. Go to the theater this weekend and check out Regretting You. And then when all his other stuff starts coming out, check out that stuff.
And before you do that, click the link in the description to go watch his
And
YouTube
watch his
short.
short film. Yes, go check that out
Yes,
too.
please.
Ethan, we're big fans, but even more, man, we're brothers in arms in
Yes.
filmmaking and acting
Yeah,
and anything you want to come on and talk about, anything that
the
you want
door's
to
always
do,
open, man.
it is absolutely wide open for you, buddy.
Well, thank you guys. No, seriously, it's been such a pleasure. And so it has been very much a blast for me to talk to you guys. And just like, it's been very nice to just, I always love just talking about this stuff. I hope I never get tired of talking about the process of all this stuff and
You
just
never
like,
will, man.
Yeah.
the artist side of it. And because I understand how in the flow of things you can get, I feel like as soon as you start getting that traction and stuff, but like, I just hope I never lose sight of this side of things, and just like I'm always like this. So yeah, just thank you,
Well, Ethan, again, thank you. He
and just
froze.
being able to talk about it.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And I know we were wrapping up. Is there anything that you want to leave inspirationally for anybody that that is an actor or a creative that you already haven't done already before Eric, you do
Mm.
your wrap up? Is there anything that you want to leave us with?
Yeah, honestly, yeah. I've had this question a lot with some people that, especially nowadays, that are like asking me how I got this movie. But I mean, the best advice feel like I give for any actor and for any artist is to just be honest with yourself, and being true to yourself. And as cliche as that is, you know, you can get caught up in so much ambition, and that's not a bad thing. If anything, it's great to get caught up in ambition, but I feel like the thing that we need most nowadays is just complete honesty with ourselves. And whether that is taking critique from other people or critique from yourself, just knowing who you are and staying true to that, and knowing that it's unique, and being honest with that. As much as you might get discouraged about that, one day someone's going to see it, and that's
Mm,
for sure. That's what I can say, and I hope that I'm proof of that. So that's all I can say for sure.
you are. You
And
are,
that
brother.
is a perfect mic drop. There is nothing else we need to
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
Ethan, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for
Again, the
having me.
link for his short film will be in the description.
Thank
His Instagram and social medias will be in the description. And like we say each and every single week, everybody, especially right now coming into the holiday season, support New Life Village.